everyone, and welcome to ReinamoesDiyinit.designs. And today you guys are gonna tag along with me as I make my wedding invitations. So if this sounds like a tutorial that interests you, please continue watching. So the first thing that you're gonna need is your do-it-yourself invitations. You can find them online. I'm pretty sure Walmart has them. I know I've seen them before at Hobby Lobby and Michael's. I think even at Joann's, because David Tutora, he has his own line of invitations and programs and menus and such. But I wanted to share with you guys the ones that I found at King Dollar. For $1.25, I purchased all that they had, but what you get is this box full of 50 invitations, thank you notes, thank you cards. You even have 25 sheets of paper if you actually want to write someone a letter that matches the design and graphics of your wedding invitations. Your RSVP cards are in here. All of your envelopes for your RSVP cards, all of your envelopes for the thank you cards, and all of the envelopes that you need for the 50 invitations that you have are all included in this box. So once you have picked the DIY kit that you want, then the next thing you would need to do is to actually print out your invitation, and you've got to pick a template. Now I want to show you guys, which I think is so very pretty. These are the invitations, and I hope that you can see the motif that's actually on the paper, and you can see that it's split here. It has perforations so that you can actually tear them apart really easily, and I love it because it's very soft and romantic, and it has my colors very muted, but my colors are in this particular paper, so I just thought it was a blessing that I was able to find it. You can go online and find templates that have the wording as you would want it for your particular wedding. So that's what I've done. I've gone online and just used a template in Microsoft Word. I know PicMonkey has wedding templates, and you can Google free wedding invitation templates, and so many of them come up, so that won't be hard for you to do. So what I'm going to do is cut away and actually show me actually as baby girl, show baby girl printing out the invitations, because I had already typed them up. And you know, with as many invitations as we had to create, we needed some kind of circuit line going. So I typed them out and she printed them out. So I'm going to show you that.
Okay guys and girls, all I'm showing you is baby girl setting up the invitation in Microsoft Word. I've already typed it up, but she knows how to hook it up to the printer and print things, so it's really good to have somebody who's tech savvy if you're not, like me. I think she's already printed it and sent it to the printer, and I believe she's getting ready to save the template that I created. You want to make sure that you save it, because you never know when you're going to have to redo some invitations. And here it is printing out. Now she's taking them and setting them aside, and I believe she's going to be printing the RSVP cards as well. We already printed the stickers for the addresses for us, and later on I actually go through my app for the knot and print off all of the address, self-addressed stamps, labels, so that I can put those on the invitations. But this is a picture of the RSVP cards, which she is printing out. That's my hand, and so I'm just showing you briefly what it actually looks like. So those are the RSVP cards, and then above it is the invitation. I had to cover the location, and these are the labels that we're using.
your, and I gotta cover the bottom, but now that you have your invitations printed out, and I hope that you guys can see that I have my wedding invitations printed out, and I have my RSVP cards printed out, and you get 4 on a sheet. The next thing that you want to do is actually start creating your invitation. So I'm going to go ahead and separate these, and when I come back, you'll see the next step. Now that I've separated everything, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down this particular invite, and I'm flipping it backwards because our information is on the front. But I'm going to trim this down a little bit because I'm going to use this beautiful gold paper that I picked up yesterday at Hobby Lobby, because right now they have 50% off of their paper crafts. So I picked that up, and it's basically just a regular 8.5 by 11.5 sheet of paper, which is the same size as your invitations. So I just cut those in half. So all I'm going to do is trim 1 inch all the way around the circumference, and in order to do that, I'm going to take off 1/4 inch on all 4 sides to give me my my inch. So this actually measures at 5.5. So at the 5 1/4 mark, and I'm using a guillotine. You can use whatever it is that you have to cut your paper, but I'm going to be using my guillotine. So I'm using the measure, and I know you guys can't see that. Unfortunately, I don't have the proper camera equipment to view it overhead, but I'm working on it. I'm placing this at 5 1/4, and I'm just taking off that little bit, and I'm going to turn it around. I'm just turning around to the other side, and now I'm measuring at 5 inches. And from here, I'm going to take that off. So here you can see I'm just taking off 1/4 inch on both sides. So this gives me 1/2 inch taken off of this invitation. Next, I'm going to do the short ends of the invitation, which measure, and please be very, very careful. It measures 8 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and do my first cut at 8 1/4 inches, and then I'm going to flip it around and cut it at 8. And I'm going to do that to all of my invitations, and when I come back, I'll show you the next step. Okay, so now what we're going to do, since we've cut down our invitations, I'm going to embellish the invitation because this is rather plain. And even though it's going to look really, really nice when I have it glued and centered on the extra backing of the champagne color, I still felt that the invitation needed a little something. So I had ordered on Amazon this big old bolt of pink ribbon. Now when I got it, it looked lighter than what it was online. When I got it, it looked like such a bright pink, but that's because there's yards upon yards on this bolt. When you cut it off, it's still real pink, but it's not as pink or as bright as it looks on the bolt. So what I'm gonna do is use this mixed media glue, which I picked up at Hobby Lobby, and it's very fast drying. It's cool because it's almost like when it dries, it's like a jelly consistency. But what I'm gonna do is just add a little glue to both ends, one at a time, where I'm gonna lay the lace out, just like so. And the lace is just gonna overlap the invitation just a little bit because we've got to tuck it under on the other side. And so place it just like this and stick it down. be careful because you don't want to use too much glue, and at the same time you don't want to use too little glue. Then we're just going to flip the invitation over, and I'm going to put a little dab of glue on each corner to fold down the lace and hold it in place. And do the same on the other side. Then we'll go ahead and add glue all along the length of this side of the invitation. And then I'm just going to put like a little small dot on each piece of lace, and then put a little in the center. And then I'm going to take my paper, my champagne colored paper, and I'm going to line it up. I'm going to line the invitation onto the champagne paper and just press. And just look how cute and dainty that is, y'all. Isn't that cute? I just thought it was so adorable. And at this point you can decide, do I want to add any more? Do I need to bling it out because I'm a bling girl? Should I add any other kind of embellishment? Should I put any gold foil on it? Whatever it is that you may want to do with it, definitely you can do. And for me, because this is really cute as it is, I purchased these little things on the Wish app because my sister at Design on a Dollar, Ida, told me about that app, and I saw these. Now when I initially ordered them, I thought they were bigger than what they were, and I thought I was going to be using them on the glassware, but when they came, they were so tiny. I've been holding on to these for about 4 months. Well, no, maybe it was more like 3 months. They're so tiny. So now that we're doing the invitations, I see a use for them. So I'm just gonna put a small dab of glue, and right in the center at the top, this will be my little embellishment. It's not too big, it's not too little, it's not too gaudy. To me, it's perfect. It's perfect. And I think now it's finished and it's adorable. So the next step obviously would be to tend to our RSVP cards. Well, with the RSVP cards, other than writing the name of who you're expected to RSVP +1 or plus their guest, you can definitely use a label machine in order to make that label so that it'll look neat. You can handwrite it if you have really good script and handwriting. Whatever you want to do, even when you print them out, if you decide you want to go one at the time and print out each name when you create your template for your RSVP cards, you can do that. Me, I'm gonna handwrite them out because it's just easier and faster that way. So I'm not cutting this down or doing anything extra fabulous for it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Lots of people don't understand what an RSVP card is. If you ever receive an RSVP card, please let me educate you. Send it in. As soon as you open it up and you receive it, check yes, check no, and send it back, because you open it up, you set it down, you forget about it. Before you know it, the date has expired, and the person who sent this to you really needs, especially for a wedding, because you're trying to get a head count. Because everybody that attends your wedding, they cost money when they sit down and eat that plate. So you would hate to arrive at someone's wedding forgetting to send back that RSVP card and they don't have a spot for you. So please send back the RSVP card. But for that reason and that reason alone, I'm not going to embellish or decorate the RSVP card. I'm just going to put names on it. So I'm just going to set that aside. But if that's something that you want to do, please decorate to your heart's content. The next step would be to move to the envelopes. Now, for this envelope, I'm not complaining. I think that it was a wonderful blessing to find a 50 pack of invitations, RSVP cards, thank you notes, thank you cards, and 25 sheets of motif paper for $1.25. That means each one of these envelopes that I send out for an invitation cost me 2.5 cents each. So I'm not complaining. But the envelope is rather thin, and I noticed when I put the invitation in, you could kind of see through it. So what I'm going to do is show you how to kind of help contradict that by, or counteract that by making an envelope cover, basically. Now we're going to pretend that this is pink. I used up all my pink cardstock and I got to go back and get more. So we're going to pretend that this is pink. All you're going to do, or at least all I did, was I cut mine in half. I had baby girl help me and she cut them in half. Really and truly, you should be cutting your cardstock to where it's measured about right here where the glue would start on the envelope. So that way when you place it inside your envelope, it won't cover up the glue that you have on this panel of the envelope. You want to cut it to where it's just higher than the bottom portion of the envelope, but definitely lower than the glue. So we didn't do that. We cut ours in half to maximize the paper that we have. And I took a corner punch. Now this is a 3-corner punch. It has different designs that you can use to actually cut the corners off of your paper. And this is made by Fiskar. So that's what I've actually done here. And you can see that I've cut the corner off on each one of these. So since I have the corner cut off, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and repunch this one, because it didn't do so well. And it tends to do better when it has more paper underneath. So let's see. Turn it around. I'll start over. It's one side and the next. Okay, so now you have 2 corners that are punched perfectly. Okay, so what you'll do is you'll take it and you'll feed it into your envelope. And since these are actually a little bit shorter than they should be, I'm gonna use that corner that I cut out to let me know exactly how far up that I need to go ahead and glue this in my envelope. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put glue on the back of my my cover sheet, and then I'm gonna affix it to my envelope. So I'm just gonna take my mixed media glue and I'm just gonna add a little, and then I'm gonna put a little bit on the, a little bit lower, okay? And then I'm just gonna go ahead and affix it to my envelope. So when they open the envelope, they'll have this cute little cover on the inside of it. And now the only thing you have to do is fold it down where it naturally creases. And now your envelope is not as thin as it once was, okay? So the next step that I'm gonna do would be obviously to put the envelopes and everything together, okay? So I'm gonna take my RSVP card and my RSVP envelope, which on your RSVP envelope, you should put your name and return address right here in the center, and then just seal it up. And if you want to use a sticker, a wax seal, one of these embellishments to do that, then you can do that. Make sure you put your stamp on. But that's all that you need. You don't need to put their address at the top and then yours at the bottom. Just keep it simple and put one address on your RSVP card. So I'm just going to take my RSVP card and put the envelope together, and I'm going to set that down on my invitation. Then I'm going to take ribbon, and I'm going to use burgundy ribbon. You can use pink, whatever color is in your wedding. And as you guys know, my colors, I've got 5 colors. It's champagne, winter white, blush, then I have cranberry and gold. So any of those colors would definitely work. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this ribbon around my invitation and cut it. And then with the mixed media, making sure that they match, and I'm just going to kind of crease it a little bit and crease it a little bit. With the mixed media glue, I'm just going to close off this ribbon. Put a little glue there, and then I'm going to fold over the ribbon, making sure that all of the ends meet and match. Just like so. So that it looks just like that. Okay? Then all I have to do is choose what embellishment, which I use the heart embellishment. Now with these I bought like 5 or 6 different styles, but the other styles are not appropriate, but the hearts and the bows are appropriate. So I'm going to actually put a little bow embellishment on top to cover the seam of where the ribbon actually meets. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue there and place my little bow. And there I have a completed invitation. And look how cute that is. For 2.5 cents. Look how cute that is. It was actually like, when you did the math, like 2.3 cents. Okay, I'll take it. Leaves plenty of money for the postage, because you're gonna, for this you're gonna need a 74-cent stamp. And they do, I just found out that they do have 74-cent stamps, so you don't have to put 2 stamps on your envelopes. So the next thing is, make sure when you're putting in your invitation that you're doing it the right way, facing forward. I was just fixing to slip it in backwards, but actually you want them to be able to open your invitation and pull it out and see the front of your invitation. So that means that it needs to go in this way. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and when I come back I'll show you my final step. Okay, so the last step would be for the invitation on the front. You know, our sticker with our information will go here at the top, and then obviously just like you would mail anything else, you would have the recipient to have their address here, and your stamp will go here. Well, this is kind of wide. Once I put the stickers on, it leaves a lot of space up here, and so I decided, you know what, this is kind of plain, let's jazz it up a little bit. And so in order to do that, we're going to do a little heat embossing. So I have taken the liberty of getting a stamp, actually 2 stamps that I fell in love with, that I have had for a while, and I hadn't used them. This one I just purchased, but this one I've had for a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. Now I keep in mind that when you're doing the heat embossing, you just need to tap just a little bit on your pad, because you don't want to get too much of the I'm going to call it inking fluid on your stamp, because then it'll get kind of gloppy, and nobody wants that. So you're just going to take your stamp and just barely touch and press in just a little bit. Then you decide how you want to position your stamp. And I actually want mine, since it looks like a beautiful chandelier, I actually want mine positioned with the beading at the top. And then I'm just going to press down on my envelope, making sure that it's even. Then I'm going to add my embossing powder, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on, and it will only adhere to the ink that you've placed down. And so now I'm just going to tap this excess off, and to make sure that I don't make a mess, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of this extra embossing powder back in its vessel and close it up. And then this is going to get a little bit loud, but it's okay. I'm going to turn on my heat tool, and now we're going to begin to emboss. So you just swirl it around, move it back and forth. You don't want it in one place too long. And right before your eyes, the powder, the embossing powder, is going to crystallize and make this beautiful, beautiful decoration, and it'll be permanent. And it is so, so very pretty. And I'm hoping that you guys can see this, because it is definitely a pinky blush. But can you see how pretty that is? That is so very pretty. And excuse me, once you go ahead and you put your address sticker and their address sticker here at the bottom with your stamp, it's really gonna just improve the look of this particular invitation. And a person, if they wanted to, could also do a wax seal on the back. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss with the other sticker, because I want to show you the effect. This was just a simple embossing powder that's in a pinkish tone, and it's actually called Opaque Finish of Rose. That's the color here, and I got that on clearance, as you can see. The next one is actually gold. And what better thing can you think of that would be gold than two rings combined together to join as one, which is what's going to be happening with me and my Boo Bear. If you wanted to, this would be appropriate for the RSVP cards as well. If that's something that you would want it to do, you could. So I'm just going to do the same thing and just sprinkle it on, move it around a little bit, dust it off, and I'm going to show you this. It says, and the two become one, which I think is so, so very special and unique. This one has glitter in it, so it's definitely a gold, and it sparkles quite a bit after it's embossed. It's gonna look like you actually just took liquid gold and stamped it on to your envelope. And I'm just making double sure, because it looks like that, you want to make sure that there's no extra powder just hanging on. And I'm just going to emboss it. And look how beautiful that is. Can you see that? Just how beautiful that is. Look how gorgeous that is. It looks like liquid gold. I just love it. So now that I have heat embossed this one, this will be ready for the next step, which would be to actually mail it out. So I hope that this tutorial you enjoyed. Please give us a thumbs up, comment, like, share. Please, please, please share this video. And most importantly, Have a wonderful evening. Bye.